Nirmal Dillon came out of Victoria Minor Lacrosse along with his 1959 Bantam champion Punjab United teammates to become one of the greats of the sport on and off the Boxla floor. Soon after, he was on the lacrosse radar, starring for the Junior Shamrocks for 3 seasons after being called up from the juvenile ranks as a 16-year-old. At 16, he helped lead the youthful Shamrocks to the 1962 Minto Cup title over Brampton. And a year later, when a trip east ended with him losing out to the Oshawa Green Gaels in the national finals in Whitby. At Vic High, he was Mr. Sports, playing rep rugby, volleyball, and soccer, along with any house sport going and winning the school athletic award. On the weekends, it was winter soccer with the Vic West Club for 10 seasons and summer lacrosse at the Stevenson Box. Nirmal, at just 127 pounds and a year younger than Ranjit, signed on with the Shamrocks just after his 19th birthday and stepped up to the seniors a season sooner than his brother. Since the early 60s, the Shamrocks had bounced between last and second to last place, with their only winning record a second-place finish in 1967 when Nirmal was the key on a man-short play that was second to none. That year, they reached the Western Finals, but an eye injury sidelined him during part of the playoffs. Dedication to the sport of lacrosse and the Shamrock Club was the reason the club continued to operate following a disastrous 1969 season when an Eastern Pro League drew some key players away. The Dillons stayed and gave the Rock something to draw the fans as well as a touch of class not regularly seen on the lacrosse floor. Through his tenacity, Nirmal took more than a share of butt ends, high sticks, and follow-throughs, but time and again he bounced back until 1970 when he came close to calling it quits. After a quiet talk with the Godfather and an offer he couldn't refuse, Nirmal had his best season ever. He led the team scoring with 106 points and was named the league's most skillful and sportsmanlike player after another last-place Shamrock finish. There were too many bleak seasons during his time, and when the sports reporters couldn't write about the team, they wrote about the Dillons, and particularly Nirmal. Jim Taylor named him MVP, Most Vulnerable Player, and said he was Sands Mortuary's MPP, Most Promising Prospect. Ernie Fedoruk stated, in his prime, Nirmal's weight was 127 pounds, most of it heart. And he must have scared off his rivals because not many fought him, maybe because they couldn't catch up to him. Through that low period, the backbone of the club, President Chris Randall, Ray Farmer, Mason Sheldrick, Norman Ed Kowalik, along with the Dillons, were their 7 saviors. After almost calling it quits, the Rocks had a better season in 1972, the start of their survival climb. Nirmal's electrifying speed and cunning play thrilled a generation of lacrosse fans and allowed him to finish his playing career scoring 227 goals, 390 assists for 617 points in 342 games. That all landed him in the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame. He had played from 1965 to 1975, and his leadership skills were evident in the senior game as he was chosen captain for 5 of his 11 playing seasons with the Western Lacrosse Association club. The Shamrocks and their fans honored Nirmal and Ranjit that year. Guess who were the happiest ladies in the arena? Those leadership attributes would hold Nirmal Dillon in good stead as he parlayed his knowledge of the game into a tremendous coaching career in lacrosse. He was actually the playing assistant coach of the Shamrocks in his final season with the team. After retiring as a player, Nirmal was a natural to be named the new head coach of the Shamrocks. He was an immediate hit on the bench, leading the Green and White to 2 first-place finishes and a second in league play. But then there were 2 heartbreaking playoff losses to the Vancouver Burrards in 1976 and 77 when the series went to 7 games with 5 being decided by a single goal. At last, 1978 was different when Victoria had the depth to go all the way to the Mann Cup final for the first time in 21 years. However, that series also went the limit before Nirmal's boys suffered a tough 7th game loss in Peterborough. After being their coach for 3 years and having them on or near the top each season, Nirm was unceremoniously dropped prior to their Memorial Arena stroll to the 1979 Mann Cup, their first in 22 years. After some time away from the sport and a loss of interest when the Shamrock name was dropped, Nirmal was coaxed back to coaching in a second successful engagement, this time on the bench of the junior Esquimalt Legion. During that span of 1988 to 1992, the team had 3 first-place Junior League finishes, 3 appearances in the Minto Cup National Finals, and 1 Minto Cup victory. He led that powerful junior team, a squad that featured 2 fabulous sets of twins, the Gate and the Pepper brothers, along with Tom Maricek, to a second Victoria Minto Cup, just as the Dillons had done 16 years before. Nirmal's third coaching stint and second with the Shamrocks began in 1994, and it too was a success as the natural leader guided Victoria to 4 Mann Cup national finals up to 2000. In those 7 seasons, the Rocks had 5 first-place finishes, reaching the WLA finals 6 times and the Canadian Championships on 4 occasions. In 2 of them, 1997 and 99, they won Mann Cup national titles.
Nirmal was the WLA Coach of the Year on 4 occasions and the BC Lacrosse Association Coach of the Year in 1988. Tonight, we are proud to induct into the Greater Victoria Sports Hall of Fame one of Victoria's greatest coaches in any sport, Nirmal Dillon.